Welcome to the Wally Show precast, and pretty soon I think Zach has an idea so that it won't be me welcoming you every day to the Wally Show precast by using the WayFM app. Do you want to do that? Because I think it's a great idea.
Sure.
I think it's a great idea. I know we're just kind of spitballing, and you kind of mention things, and then I run with them.
Yeah, and all of a sudden we're going full blow.
Yeah, exactly. That's just kind of how I do things. But I love the concept of that, of letting somebody else introduce the precast every day.
Yeah, so we have this great WayFM app, and it can record audio, really high quality. Actually, it sounds great. You just hit the new message icon button thing, and then hit the microphone. You can record and upload a message to us really easily. And I think it'd be cool if we just every day or whenever had potties introduce themselves and say, and this is the Wally Show precast.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too, and don't let, if say you have a speech impediment or something like that, don't let that, look at Betty looking at me, just follow me here, don't look at me like that yet, just go with me. Don't let that preclude you from doing this. I would love that.
Or if you talk in a cartoon voice.
Yes, I don't care. Like people that say, oh, you have the most annoying voice on the planet, I want you to introduce our precast. So if you've ever been told you have a horrible voice, this is meant for you. It'd be awesome. So please take advantage of that, and you can get it in the iTunes store or the Google Play thing, whatever.
Right, yeah, it works on both Android and Apple. If you tried the Android app before and you had problems, we think we've fixed a lot of those problems, so give it another try. But just hit new message, hit the microphone, record something. In the message, if you put hashtag potty, that'll help us pull it out later.
Okay.
That'll help make sure we see it. It's so hashtag PODDY.
Gotcha. Oh, I spell it IE.
Oh, do you?
I do.
Why?
I've always spelled potty PODDIE, and I don't know why.
Oh, I have too. I thought that's what the way was.
Okay, so hashtag potty IE.
Sorry, you got it confusing.
Adding an extra letter.
Yeah, that's weird.
I know. I don't know why I just started spelling it all those years ago.
Like potties would be IE.
IES, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so
it's not a real word. I don't know why we're struggling over spelling. But.
You should give it an example of what an intro could sound like.
What an intro could sound like?
Yeah, like if you were somebody else.
Wait, no, I want to do it. I want to do it.
Okay, go ahead.
This is Brittany Loxton, and I love the Wally Show podcast, especially that Becca girl. So here you go, on with the precast.
Very nice. It's a random
good.
British accent.
Yes.
Okay, mine would be, good evening, and welcome to the Wally Show podcast.
Is that Christopher Walken?
No, it was Sean Connery.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What do you
I mean, you didn't want to call in the professional?
Yes, Brock, go ahead.
Whatever. No, it's fine. Go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say.
No, ask Sean Connery. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
I'm Sean Connery.
No, you can't always just say I'm Sean Connery. So you have to learn to not crutch on I'm Sean Connery.
Someone sounds jealous of my abilities.
So here's the Wally Show.
Here's the Wally Show.
That's not too bad.
We should have a presidential
Bill
precast.
Clinton.
I'm Bill Clinton, and this is Wally Show precast.
Nice. That's actually really good.
No, it's not. I heard
that was really
Daryl
good.
Hammond on something the other day doing Bill Clinton, and it was like, oh my goodness, he was such a master.
Daryl Hammond's a baby.
Daryl Hammond.
Who is he?
He's on SNL.
He's the guy who does Bill Clinton. They were doing a Hillary skit the other day, and so he dropped in.
I still don't know, but okay.
He and I got in a fight at 99X when I worked there, and he came in, and I made fun of him, and he got all offended and threatened to walk off the show.
How come all your stories start with, we got in a fight? I offended them once.
Well, because he was being a baby. I was kidding around about something. You would think a comic could take a joke, but sometimes comics are the worst at taking jokes, and so he was threatening to not come on the show after that, and so then somebody on our show really wanted to have him on, and so they're trying to force me to apologize to get him to come into the studio. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. It's ridiculous. But he's super talented. The guy's really good.
Yeah, for sure.
So, real quick, to show you how the audio works, the audio feature at the WayFM app there, we actually have a little clip of that from Christy.
Hi, my name is Christy, and I'm turning 17 today. I feel really bad asking this, but I was wondering if it was possible for y'all to say happy birthday to me on the podcast. I hope you have a great day. Oh, thank you, Miss Becca, for the time you've given to me. It's meant a lot. Bye-bye.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, see, because that's the thing people don't always realize is that sometimes we interact with people like off of the air and things like that. And Becca spent some time with Christy, trying to help her out with some things. And
she
stuff,
started writing me a little handwritten note one time. So
yeah, and so that's really cool. I wish we had time to give her a birthday announcement. We just don't.
Happy birthday, Christy!
Happy birthday from all of us to you. We wish it was our birthday so we could party too. Hey! There you go. That was stellar.
I always love doing that.
I know. There's something about it. I want to go get a job at like Fridays just so I could do that every day. I would be the guy that got excited about it. Okay, so we got some stuff that we did not get to in news today because it was just a jam-packed show, which you'll get to later on, obviously, in the podcast.
Yeah, we could have done a whole another newscast. I have 3 stories
No
today.
way, really?
I sure do.
Wow.
The first one is police had to arrest an 18-year-old kid for posing as a doctor. He was working at this medical center, but he had composed like an elaborate website and called himself a medical professional and had all these records of what he had done. And so the medical center is saying, oh, no, he never interacted with patients. But some patients are saying, no, that guy actually came in and gave me a consult.
Really?
Oh, my goodness.
18 years old.
Wow, that's a real life like Catch Me If You Can. Did you ever see that movie?
I did.
No.
I just recently saw it.
You never saw that movie with it was Leonardo DiCaprio, wasn't it?
Yeah, Tom Hanks.
It's a great movie.
Yeah,
love
it
Tom
was good.
Hanks.
And so, yeah, there was based on a true story of this guy that I just saw the play recently, too, because my daughter was in it. And it's based on this true story of this guy who just pretends to be everything. He started off as an airline pilot and like for Pan Am and was writing bad checks. And then he actually was working in an ER as an ER administrator or doctor at one point in time. And then so he switched all these identities and wrote all these bad checks. And then the FBI was after him and they finally caught him. And then the FBI hires him to work on their payroll for catching other counterfeiters
good grief.
after he did a few years in prison. I
What
think he
was
might
the
have done
point?
7 years.
Like, why did he want to do that?
He didn't
For money.
Yeah, he didn't really have like a lot of stuff going on. He had dropped out of high school and then just decided to become this other different person, and then that was how he was making his living.
I actually read his book. It's
Did you
fascinating.
really?
Yeah.
I want to see how close it is to the musical. Did he and his dad ever sing "Let's Make Butter Out of Cream"?
Yes.
Did they really?
No.
No, darn it.
Oh, my goodness.
His time in the French prison was a lot scarier too.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I'd read that, and you kind of see that in the movie that he's really beaten down and disheveled. But yeah,
I forgot about that from the movie because it wasn't in the version of the musical.
Oh,
that
really?
I saw.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
then.
I base my life on musicals and TV shows,
Yep.
but I missed that. I forgot that part of the movie. Why did he end up in a French prison? He got caught over there passing bad checks.
Yeah.
Okay.
And multiple countries wanted him.
Oh.
He was
didn't-
wanted everywhere.
Right. He didn't want to just do it to the U.S.
Oh, I
Right.
gotcha.
But this kid that posed as a doctor in Florida, he actually called himself Dr. Love, so I'm surprised. Earlier.
Yeah, that's how you know you're 18 when you're like, I'm gonna call
Gross.
myself Dr. Love, and like you think that's cool, but then it like anybody that like went to this kid and didn't like raise a red flag. Let me see. You look like you're 12, and your name is Dr. Love. Maybe I'm gonna get a second opinion.
Right?
I'm gonna ask for a second opinion.
And you think, okay, maybe he looks really old. He really doesn't. Betty, look at this picture.
Oh.
Yeah.
He looks like he's like 15 or
Yeah,
16.
he
He's like
doesn't, he
Doogie
doesn't
Howser.
look 30.
That was Zach's favorite show as a kid, probably Doogie Howser.
It was inspirational.
Did you like Doogie Howser?
I don't think I was allowed to watch that much.
You weren't really.
No, because I was younger-ish when
Yeah.
that was out, and like they had some adult humor. I watched some.
Did you? Yeah, I didn't think it was that bad. Like you could identify with Doogie Howser, the smart kid that's a doctor at the age of 12 or whatever he was, and I probably identified with his friend Vinny.
Yeah.
who was- thanks. You didn't like you jumped right in on that. Oh, the dumb kid, Vinny.
What show is this?
Doogie Howser, MD. It was with Neil Patrick Harris before he went on to all of the How I Met Your Mother and all the other shows he's done.
He's really young in it.
He played a kid that graduated from college like at 14 or 12 or whatever and was a practicing doctor like before he was 16 at a hospital. It wasn't bad for what it was. It wasn't bad. It gave Neil Patrick Harris his start.
Winter conditions have a lot of places around the country still kind of tricky to navigate. I actually got stuck in it this past weekend. But in North Carolina, roads were so bad that a woman and her 4 kids actually slid off the road and didn't know what to do. So they ended up at this gas station. The gas station was closing soon, but the owner decided to let them stay the night in their gas station.
Oh,
so they
wow.
had a place to stay. Well, I mean, it's better than being in your cold car.
No,
But
100%.
He actually even hooked up a TV for the kids
Oh,
to
that's
kind of make it a little
nice.
bit better of an experience for them.
Oh, nice. And the kids are thinking this is great. We
Right?
we haven't eaten this well in years.
Right.
Like, how awesome would that be? There's just this plethora of Slim Jims and powdered cake donuts. Oh, my goodness.
Donuts.
Yeah.
What's donuts?
No, they're not
You're
donuts.
so refined.
No, I know. They're called... those,
Do you eat them with your pinky out?
Yes, the little ones are called donuts.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are. Honest truth. Someone Google it. They're like...
There's donut holes.
Yeah, but like I think it's a brand, and they call them donuts. Like,
Donut acts so pretentious.
They fit nicely in his girl truck.
No, they
No, I actually think
taste
you're
good.
right on
I
that.
know.
The hostess donut.
Thank you.
It's so funny. A gas station
Who
and
knows
your
that?
pantry, pretty similar.
Oh, 100%.
Yours might be better stocked.
It might be
With
actually.
more gas.
Yeah, if you look at my backpack right now still looks like a gas station food pantry because I've got Skittles, I've got cookies, I've got fruit roll-ups. What else do I have in there? I have gummy bears. Like it's absolutely ridiculous, my diet. The other day when I left here, I realized I was like, I'm not all that hungry. I don't think I'm gonna have lunch. And I realized what I had were sour gummy bears, cookies, like 5 Slim Jims, and I'm like, this is not healthy. Like this is not like gonna suffice. Like if you make this your entire thing. So I went to McDonald's.
Can we talk about what you did the day before that? We had gone out for a show lunch, and you completely destroyed Becca for having a 20-piece
Yes.
nugget.
20 nuggets that
let's
girl
talk
ate.
that
about
much.
this.
That
Let's
girl
talk about
ate
this.
20 nuggets in one sitting.
You
Right.
have no room to talk because we went at 10:30. So you got breakfast. You got your precious McGriddle meal with the hash brown, with the Coke.
Yes.
And then what happened? Oh, say an hour and a half after that.
Okay, in full disclosure, I was on my way home. I called my wife. I said, hey, I'm coming home. You probably already ate lunch. And she goes, no, I was waiting for you because we were watching The Bachelor the night before, and they had McDonald's on there and French fries, and you said that you wanted French fries, so I was thinking you were going to go to McDonald's. So at that point, my wife hadn't eaten. I had to feed my wife.
Right.
So
So
right.
so you just went to the drive-thru and got something for her?
You just got a coffee for yourself.
It's
or something?
impossible to go through a drive-thru at McDonald's without getting something for yourself. So I got myself a fish fillet meal.
A meal?
Not. No, you did not.
Yes, I
You had
did.
2 meals the same day you criticized
Becca
wow.
for having one.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I know. But I ate 2 separate meals at separate times.
Like an hour
She ate
apart.
one meal. She ate one
Are you
meal.
sure?
20
With no
nuggets.
sides.
She had no sides.
I told you at the time. I said, I bet you $5 tomorrow I will weigh less on the scale because I calculated this out and I'm being smart
Right.
about this, and I did.
I'm not by any stretch of the imagination calling you fat. I'm just saying that 20 nuggets at one time seems like a lot to eat.
Two meals within
Okay.
an hour time frame
Yeah.
is a lot to eat.
That
It was
you
more
have
than
no
an
room to
hour.
talk.
It was about 2.5 hours, 3 maybe, but it was breakfast and lunch. I mean, but no, it just seems like a lot. That's all.
Well, you know what seems like a lot is what you did.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
guess.
lot.
It was a fish fillet though. That's like on the lighter side.
It's not even real meat.
There's a lot of air in it. A lot of air.
wait.
in it.
On the lighter
I
side.
actually have a
Okay.
question because you just told the McDonald's story and then we went into this other McDonald's story. Did you eat the 2 McDonald's meals the same day you had all that sugar from your backpack?
No, that was a
Okay.
different day.
Okay.
Oh,
No, totally different day because that morning I hadn't eaten much here on the show. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, I
but
guess-
it's not outside the realm of possibility.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Like right now, I want to get to my Skittles and gummy bears right now, but they're in the other room. So I'm stuck here doing
That's
this
too much
precast.
exercise.
Yeah, might kill me. I actually did. My wife got I got her a treadmill for her birthday, and what? She wanted one.
can't do
Oh,
that.
she
No,
wanted
she
one.
wanted
Okay,
one. Honest,
okay.
truthful.
Okay.
Like I didn't want to get her one, and I wanted to get her anything else but that. But she was like, "This is all I wanted." She was very excited when I brought it home and it was in the garage. She was like, "Oh, that's great! I didn't think you were gonna give me one." And so, but
It would have been great if at that point she said, now go run on it.
yeah, yes,
She wanted it for you.
For me, I need it.
And put a McRib on a fishing pole.
And so right now, though, that treadmill has made its way from the garage into my hallway. and it's still in my hallway because it has to go upstairs. And she can't help carry it upstairs, so I have to get somebody else, like my neighbor, to come help me take it upstairs. Because the rule was she wanted to put it in a room upstairs. I'm like, well, that room's a disaster. It's like a clearinghouse for all of her junk. I'm like, you got to clean that room, and then we'll make this for the treadmill and stuff. And so
you
she did
bought
that.
your wife a treadmill for her birthday and then told her to go clean her room.
Made her clean, yeah.
Wow.
I'm the
Terrible.
man. I'm the man.
No, you're a terrible man.
Right now, there are guys high-fiving air going, yes, yes, I wish that was me. Yes, I'm going to run that show when I get home like that. But they won't, because they don't have that kind of game.
Neither do you.
Oh, I do. I run my house. Oh, my goodness gracious.
I'm going to turn
Marty
my
was
mic. I'm
here.
checking out.
Right. Let's call Marty.
Don't.
Call
Please
Marty
don't text
and
her.
tell her.
Please,
Yes, I'm going
please
to
do
text
not
her
text
right
my
now.
wife.
Do it right now.
Whatever you
Becca,
do,
tell
don't
her.
text my wife, please.
I'm going to text her too.
If you text her, tell her
Add
I
me
love
to
her.
the group message. I should have
to the
been
group?
recording.
Okay, hold
I should have been recording that whole
Betty
time.
and I had a discussion about my text with my wife the other day because I always end with "I love you" over just like anything. Like it's like I'm going to the store to pick up milk. Okay, cool, I love you, and things like that.
It's ridiculous.
And I went back through and read all of mine, and and I'll go back and if I say I got you the milk you needed, and I don't say I love you, then I'll text a separate text that says I love you.
That would drive me crazy.
Hashtag
Yeah.
needy.
Yeah, no, she likes it, but
What should I say? Wally's currently bragging in the podcast about how
He is the man of the house and how he rules it all. Also that he bought you a treadmill and told you to clean your room.
so
You might
much
want to
to-
Siri this one.
Can we just record it? I'm just going to record it.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Like the recording.
are you guys done yet?
Okay, go ahead.
Wally's
Hey,
text.
Marty, we're in the middle of doing the podcast, and Wally was just bragging about how he got you a treadmill and then told you to clean your room.
Love you, girl.
And how he is the man of the house and that he rules.
And that he has game.
Yeah, and that all the men are like high-fiving saying, yeah, I'm going to run my house like that, but they ain't got the game like I do. He literally said that. Didn't you, Wally?
Of course I said that, and she knows it's true. You know it's true, don't you, girl? I love you.
Oh, my gosh.
That's your man
Send it.
talking.
Send it. Send it.
I already sent her a text. Don't believe
Disregard
it.
anything you
Justify? Oh, honest, truthful? Honest, truthful? You couldn't honest,
I
truthful
think what's
that.
amazing is Betty's retention of the show. Like she's actually paying
It's
attention.
the first time
she's
she's
in.
listened
that
in
was
months.
that was 100%
What were we
recall of that
talking about
conversation.
earlier?
Yeah, that's the first time she's listened to the show in ages. So nicely done.
I have one more story.
Oh, please go ahead.
Yeah, because I'm the woman of this podcast.
Yeah,
I'm gonna run this.
I'll run this
You
show.
are. I'll high five you. All right.
Last night on Wheel of Fortune, there was a couple playing for a prize puzzle, and they solved the puzzle, and then they might have been smart enough to solve the puzzle, but they didn't quite solve what their prize was.
Gondola ride through Venice.
Yeah.
Let's check your geography knowledge. What country do you think we're sending you to?
Paris.
City,
France.
country, wrong one.
Still get it?
That's all. I love the wife. Do we still get it? We know we're dumb, but we still get it. Oh, that is
Yes.
awesome.
What was amazing, there was another couple on that show, and so there were two words, big words, and only one letter had been guessed. There were two T's in the first word, and he solved the puzzle from that.
Really?
It was Outstanding Companion.
Oh my goodness.
And so you have that kind of genius
Yeah.
that lost
Yes.
to that couple.
Yeah, that couple's like, oh my goodness gracious. My wife needs to go on Wheel of Fortune. My wife and her mom, when she was alive, used to always, we'd watch Wheel of Fortune, and they would guess the puzzles so stinking fast. I've been trying to get her to go on that show for years, but she never wants to audition because she doesn't want to be like that giddy, overexcited person that it takes to get on the show.
But you have to be, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, if they ever did a couples thing like that one, I could handle the giddy, overexcited, and she could just do all the work.
The smart.
And then they'd be like,
Yes.
they'd be like, Wally, where's Venice?
Yeah.
Paris.
Brussels! Yeah, that is true, actually, because the first time when he said, what country are we sending you to, and he said Paris, and truth be known, I laughed because I'm like, it's Italy, and then I'm like, oh, wait, it's a city. I didn't even put together that it wasn't a country at the time, so I get it. I'm dumb, too. Let me see. Real quick. We talked about Kate Winslet yesterday a lot on the show, and just a quick follow-up to that, because if you listen to the podcast, there are people like, oh my goodness, Wally, for your take on that, you're going to get crushed with emails and this, that, and the other. I was pleasantly surprised at how few people complained and how many people actually understood what I was saying. I'm not even going to say agreed with me, because that makes it sound like I'm right and Becca's wrong, because it's not a right or wrong situation. But I will say how many people didn't misunderstand. And not that Becca did, but didn't misunderstand where I was coming from, which was actually really refreshing.
Well, lots of people understood me because they were calling me a narcissist, so that was fun.
Welcome to this job, because you can be like, and like you're like, oh wait, I'm the victim here, and like, and
I am the least narcissistic person I know.
Yes, and then you took the hit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Well, that's okay. I did have one lady that emailed me and was really upset. She accused me of letting the devil whisper in my ear and and like lead people astray and this, that, and the other.
Well, you and me, we're just a narcissist and a devil worshiper.
I know, it's absolutely crazy. And then she went on to say that I lust after women when I walk through the mall in Victoria's Secret and things like that. Like, what in the world?
Where do you pull that out of that conversation?
Yeah, because she kept saying your and your and your. And the only thing I could figure is she was talking about men in general, because she listed a bunch of things. And so, like, I said, look, if you're talking about men in general, A, that's not accurate, but B, all right, fair enough. If you're talking about me specifically and you're making these leaps, then I'm highly offended by that. Like, that is so not cool, because I go out of my way to try to respect my wife, other than the conversation we had a few minutes ago about me running that show, honey!
And C, she's been really deeply hurt at some point in her life.
Oh, dude.
That's sad.
Yeah, you could. I am trying to get better about reading between the lines and stuff. So, like, I had about 4 versions of my email back to her where each one got progressively kinder, because my first one was a little caustic, and I'm like, yeah, I got to dial this back, because that old saying, hurt people. And so she got bruised by something that wasn't intended to, and it cued all the things that she's probably dealt with, the insecurities, this, that, and the other, and then just kind of went nuts.
I totally get it, because this is going back to high school, but the first 2 boyfriends I had were heavily into pornography. Like,
really?
It was bad. And I didn't realize it at the time. It was something that kind of came out later. And so then when I started dating Joey, I was just suspicious. Like, well, all guys watch it, so,
Right.
You obviously do. I just want to know how much of a problem this is. And he's like, no, I really don't. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, ha, ha, ha.
Right.
Like, you take those things with you and label other people the same way.
I would love to see a study based on that, and, like, how prevalent pornography is in a younger generation, because it's so much more readily available and it's everywhere. And it's like, I think, like, when I was a kid, it was harder to find. You had to seek it out. You had to really seek it out, and it was not easy to get. It wasn't digital. It didn't come to your laptop or your phone.
It was drawn on caves.
Yes.
It's very dark in there.
Yeah, dinosaurs and stuff. It was weird. I don't really want to talk about it, but in all seriousness, like, it was Zach's over there just laughing. It was a different time and a different place. But now where it's so prevalent, and it's so destructive to guys, and I don't think they ever fully realize it, because what happens is you think, oh, this is a victimless thing, I'm just doing this or whatever, but all of a sudden what's happening is you're training your mind for what is unrealistic in life from your spouse eventually. Like, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get this chick that's just like this. And then all of a sudden, when she fails to meet those expectations, the problem is her. And then, now, you know what? My marriage is falling apart. Now I got to go find another wife who will satisfy me in this way, this, that, and the other. And it's like, it's so unrealistic, and it damages the relationships that they have from here on out.
And I do think it's definitely more prevalent than most people talk about, especially in Christian circles, because I went to a Christian college, and regularly I would overhear guys talking about how they got around the block at the school. Like, it was so bad that they were going out of their way to get around the safety block that the school internet had on it to be able to view these things. And it was like, really, like, at a Christian school, and this is a common conversation. But yeah, it's destructive, and
it's a mess. I'll tell you,
it's a mess. And I think that my marriage is richer because Joey never struggled with it. Now, if you have struggled with it and you come back from that and you work through that and you fix that hard issue, then of course it's going to be great. But I'm just thankful that's nothing that we ever had to walk through.
Yeah, I do get people that ask me all the time about like, well, how do I get out of this, and like how do I fix this? And the reality is you can alter the behavior. You can put your computer in the family room so that you never look at the computer at home like that or this, that, or the other. But the reality is then you'll be out somewhere and it'll be available and you'll seek it. It's until you change the inside, you can behavior modify all you want, but that doesn't solve the overriding problem, because it is, like you're saying, it's a hard issue, and it's like, okay, why am I seeking out this? What am I missing that this is replacing?
Right.
And that's what you have to deal with. That's your first step if you want to knock this out of your life, if that's something that you struggle with now. So, all right. Well, you got one more thing on that?
No, I took it on expected turn, but I was actually just going to talk about Marty texted back.
Oh, what she texted back?
Said,
about the, like you guys sending her a note there?
Yeah, that you were bragging about running the house. Yeah. She says, well, he's only able to say that because I'm not there. We all know who rules this house.
Yeah, we do.
Done and done.
Yeah, we do.
Really? Because she texted me back, oh, I believe it, and I could hear the truth on the podcast if I was a potty. Hey, wait a minute. Actually, good to know.
And she's got you trained well, because you're over here, you're working hard, and she's in her pajamas.
I know. She's living the dream, isn't she?
She's living my dream.
I know. Betty Rock, we were talking about this the other day. It's like Betty Rock would love my wife's life if it didn't come with me.
Oh, totally.
Marty wears the pajama pants of the family.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she
Proudly.
does. The funny thing is that's more offensive to her than anything I said in the podcast. Like you two just talking about her just wearing pajamas all day. Like that is way worse.
How is that offensive?
What? Because it makes it sound like she doesn't do anything. It's different when I do it.
You're like, man, I got home today. I don't even know what you did all day, woman. But you tell us these things.
Totally different when I do it, because it's a guy thing. It's like you girls going.
Thing.
Yeah, but it's like you girls going, oh, she just sits around in her pajamas all day while we're out here working.
You paint the picture.
Oh no, I'm just saying that's like I hope she doesn't get upset with you guys. But, when I tell her what you said. All right, that is gonna. I've been literally trying to finish this precast for 10 minutes now.
It's done.
Yay! All right, precast done. On with the podcast. This is the Wally Show, and I got an email specifically addressed to Betty Rock. I don't think people understand that most of the names on the show should be just like Betty@allwally.com, Becca@allwally.com, spelled with a K-A-H, Zach@allwally.com. But everyone emails me things to ask you guys when you could just email them directly. It's a great thing. So there you go.
Maybe
Betty.
we don't talk about it enough.
Maybe Betty@allwally.com. Just hit her up. But it says, do you think Betty would rather get married, meet Elvis, or have 500 cats? And at first I thought, oh, it's an easy one. But then I thought, no, it's not an easy one.
I know. I'm trying to think this through.
I know.
Here's the thing. There's pros and cons to two of them.
What's the one that there's not pros and cons to?
Getting married, I think.
Okay.
Maybe I haven't thought of the con yet. But with Elvis, will I be dead?
Good
or
point.
would he come back to life? I need to ask these questions.
That is a good point.
Back to life and young Elvis.
Oh my gosh! Oh, definitely meet him. Yes,
really?
Please.
Before getting married, I actually I wrote her back for you, and I said, "Great question. If she could meet Elvis, marry him, and do that on a cat farm, I think it would be a win-win."
Totes.
Yeah, for sure.
Take me, please.
Speaking of this, getting married and stuff, would you ever get to the point? Because just as you get older, like things change in your life, and things that you maybe said, oh, I would never do that. It just changes. Your situation changes. Would you ever ask a guy to marry you? Like if he was on the fence, like say you'd been dating for a little bit, and like you're like, well, I'm pulling the trigger. I'm doing this.
No.
You would not?
No, because
you're an old-fashioned girl.
Well, yeah, but also because if he doesn't have the guts to ask me himself, then where is he not going to have the guts to do other things?
Right. Because, he could just be really intimidated by you.
Well, then I don't need to be with him.
Okay, all right.
And there's not much to be intimidated by. Like, I don't understand how you can be intimidated by a 115-pound girl that's
You're
5'5".
mean.
Yeah.
How does that make me mean? I'm so confused. This is why I'm single.
No. But the good news is, okay, say you decided to, 73% of men said that they would say yes if a woman proposed to them. Like,
Really?
Yeah, because they're a chicken.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, it would make life so much easier.
My fear is I just feel like there's already that precedent of the guy asking the girl. So I feel like if a guy is not
Right.
asking you, maybe he doesn't want to be married.
True.
So I'd be afraid to ask him.
Yeah, see, now that's the part I get. Like, but again, just as you get older, you see things differently. Like for my daughter, they have a banquet coming up at school, and so she's not dating anybody, and there's like people she's not really interested in dating. She thinks the guys at her school are dumb, So I'm like, well, if you want to go with, a guy that's a friend, and my head is just like, just ask somebody. But then I'm thinking, oh, that is kind of weird socially, because the girl is supposed to be asked and this, that, and the other. But where I'm like, you're not really wanting to date somebody. It's more of a friend thing. I'm like, why don't you just ask?
Yeah, that's different.
That
I
is
think.
very different,
Because that's
yeah.
not like a life decision. That's just
Right.
a high school thing.
Yeah, but it's just those norms that you play with that I would have never thought of. When I was growing up, I would have never thought I would tell my daughter someday, just ask some guy to banquet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do see. But I think as you get older, I don't think I would ask the guy to marry me. I think as I get older, I probably will be more like, hey, marriage is a wonderful thing. Just
Oh, no.
getting around.
Yeah, and then it's going to get all like...
Awkward.
Yeah, that could get bad quickly. Yeah, just ask him. Hey, it's the Wally Show. Who's this?
Hey, this is Josh Wally. I wanted to chime in on the Betty Rock marriage thing if I could.
Oh, about how 73% of guys said they would accept a proposal from a woman. So are you single?
I am not single.
Okay, I just thought I saw where this was going. Okay. I thought he was going to be like, yeah, I just like to chime in on this thing a little bit. Ask me, I'll marry you.
Betty Rock, I'm not old-fashioned. I'm only 38, but I can tell you that this is a man's job, period.
Amen.
Period. But the good thing is, Betty Rock, you're in your 20s, I'm assuming late 20s,
No.
and that's good.
No, I am not.
For the record, she looks like she's in her 20s and acts
gotta
like
be
it. I would think she's, honestly, as a compliment, I would say if I were to just look at you and hang out with you, I'd be like, oh, she's like 24, 25.
Oh, thank you.
How sweet.
Yeah.
And that's good because you're now past the drama age.
Maybe I'm out of the drama stage, but I'm getting into the baggage stage now.
Oh, yeah, that's not your
understand.
fault. That's just an age thing where if you want to date a guy that's in your age, it's at this point, he starts to come with baggage, unfortunately. That's a bummer. So the way to avoid that is you could date younger, but that's like you're not into that.
Yeah, I don't want that. If anything, I want older.
But then there's more baggage with that. It's just
I know.
more wrinkly.
I know. Ew.
Hey, it's the Wally Show. Who's this?
Hey, man, this is Tim.
What's up, Tim?
Now, I'm one of the 73%.
Oh, so you're one of the 73% of men that was asked to get married by the woman. Oh, wow. And so you said yes. How long have you guys been married?
This will be 26 years.
It's interesting that it worked out for you guys with your wife asking, because I had two different friends ask their boyfriends
No.
to marry them. Yeah, where the girl
Really?
proposed.
And they were young, too.
They were young. The first one was right out of high school, so you kind of saw that
okay.
maybe not being the best plan.
Yeah.
And so it actually fizzled before they got married. They
That's
didn't.
good.
The engagement didn't even last. But then the other couple, she proposed to him. They ended up getting married, and she was so controlling. She told him he couldn't have any female friends. And
She was controlling, really?
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming.
And anytime he wanted to hang out with his guy friends, like his male friends, they had to do it at their house so she could keep an eye on things. So that marriage lasted about a year.
Yeah, okay.
You could guess, yeah.
It'd be interesting to see the percentage of marriages that survive if the woman was the one that initiated it and asked versus the stereotypical way or the traditional way of the man asking.
Well, the traditional way doesn't have a great success rate either.
Well,
so.
I know, so I'm just curious.
This time we're going to give the news the respect it deserves. It's a miracle! It's the Wally Show News.
And Becca's going to get you caught up right now. What's happening?
Flint, Michigan is still struggling with water issues after their water was tainted with lead nearly 2 years ago. Well, in a new nationwide survey, researchers found that Flint residents paid the highest water rates in America.
Well, yeah, that's because lead isn't cheap.
Right,
They had to put that
there
in
you
there.
go. Yeah,
That's
you're getting that extra
crazy.
bonus. Yeah, they're paying saying they've paid nearly $900 a year for contaminated water, which is 3 times the national average of what everyone else pays.
That is insane.
Yeah, it's kind of salt in the wound at this point.
I suspect some public officials will or should end up in jail after all this.
You would hope, man.
Like, there's got to be some corruption or fraud somewhere.
That's where, like, other countries, when there's corruption, like, the political officials get, like, thrown in jail, like, quick. Like China, they're like, okay, you're in jail. Like, here, they fight things in court forever and blame other people and stuff, but something is amiss for these poor people.
For sure, because this is a big deal, and they've already linked some diseases to this issue, but they're not even sure of the long-term effects because lead poisoning affects people differently. So it's a huge mess.
It can cause cancer,
right.
you know? So it's like this could be something that 10 years down the road manifests itself in horrible ways.
Exactly. Toys just keep getting cooler, and this new toy is one that I'm even tempted to buy as an adult. This week, Mattel revealed their new 3D Thing Maker, which is a 3D printer that prints toys.
Can you imagine that as a kid? Like, that would be the best thing ever.
I would get it and be so disappointed because I would think I would outsmart it and print another toy maker, and then I'd print another toy maker, and then when that wouldn't work, I would be so frustrated.
I just created a perpetual toy making machine.
Yes.
Yeah, I could see, like, kids, though, you have this dream of, like, you know, creating a truck or something like that, like it's going to actually work like the other one that you want to make it from is, but it's kind of like just parts of things.
Well, they are going to have the pre-designed molds or whatever, the designs that you can do, but you can also do your own. So
that is really cool.
Yeah, it's going to be selling for around $300 this fall.
The big thing with 3D printers is speed. Like, I'm real curious. Like, you could start printing something, like, you're like, I'm going to print a toy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then by that time the kid's like, I'll play with the box that came in.
Like, how long would it take to print a ball pit?
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Zach's 2 concerns. 1, it's not going to be smart enough for me. 2, how long will the ball pit take?
Yes, exactly. Which are 2 very diametrically opposed things.
Yes.
Something that's so smart and then something that's so dumb like a ball pit.
Well, that's why I was going to make more toy printers so I could print the ball pit faster.
A flawless plan.
And recently, a man in New York lost his wallet at a concert, which of course happens all the time. But a week later, he actually received an envelope in the mail that had his driver's license and his credit cards and some other things in it. Yeah. It also had a note, though. The note said, I found your wallet and your driver's license had your address, so here are your credit cards and other important stuff. I kept the cash, the Metro card, and the wallet because it's kind of cool. Oh my gosh! Enjoy the rest of your day. Toodles, Anonymous.
Who uses Toodles?
Yeah, well,
that's more of a crime.
Guys who steal cash.
Yeah, you can't be mad at the Toodle Bandit. At least you got your credit cards back. It's kind of a yay-all, I guess. Well, there you go. That is your news for this hour. Thank you, Miss Becca. This is the Wally Show, and we're all big fans of the show Shark Tank. And I didn't know this, but Damon John's one of the guys, the billionaires on Shark Tank, has this thing. I heard he's doing like seminars around the country where you show up to a hotel or something and they help you become an entrepreneur type thing. And, it's one of those things. There's no way he's there at these. It's like, I bet it's a video like, hi, guys, I started FUBU and I made millions of dollars. You too can follow my system or something like that. Like, I'm always so suspect of those because they're like, registration's free. Come on down. But then there's part of me that really loves Shark Tank, and I really thought about like going, even though I don't have an entrepreneurial like idea right now. But part of me wanted to go.
You should go and bring a bunch of random things like that you're trying to pitch to anyone there who will listen.
Like, it's all stuff that exists. I have these headphones. I've got this pen.
We'll give you $1 for every 30-second increment he'll pay attention to you. He's actually there.
Exactly. I'm afraid of like getting trapped in one of those things that actually ends up being a scam. I'm not saying that that's what his is at any stretch of the imagination, because I know he has a bunch of lawyers. So I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is sometimes you go to a timeshare pitch or something like that, and you're like, this is going to be great. I'm going to get something free. And it's the worst experience of your life.
Yeah, I'm cheap, so I love free, but there's sometimes when you see free that makes you think, oh, there's probably something up.
Like, would you do this kind of thing, Zach? Would you? Because you're kind of an entrepreneur, though. Like, you're a wantrepreneur. That's what Mark Cuban would call you.
Sure.
And I don't mean it as a bad thing.
No,
but you have all these ideas.
Yes. No, I wouldn't go to that.
And you want to do them, but you just haven't pulled the trigger on it.
Because I think you would walk in the door and every second that would be trying to sell you some system or some...
That's what I feel like.
That's my suspicion. Like, if they had charged like $99 or something, I'd be like, oh, I wonder if that's worth it. Maybe.
Yeah, see, See, that's the crazy thing, because then you would actually go.
I actually went to a pitch once because I was promised that I could have a 2-night stay anywhere in the continental United States.
No way.
Yeah.
How was it?
So I went to the thing, and it was right before we got married, so Joey had to come with me. And it was basically a live infomercial for pots and pans, which I loved. And they cooked for you, so free dinner.
So that's a win.
And we got the voucher for a 2-night stay. We didn't use it before it expired because they only had like 30 locations, and there wasn't one close, and we were poor, and so that wasn't going to happen. But I thought it was worth it. We got dinner.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty amazing. Like, I don't think it goes that way most times. So I'm curious if you've ever gone to one of these things that's free, and what happened? Did it turn out to be a scam, and all you wanted to do was, go home? Or did it work out great like Becca's? I'm really surprised. Well, like Zach, you started doing that Take Shape for Life thing, and that kind of could feel like that thing where you go and you become this independent I don't know what they call them, but, health coach or whatever. And those you meet at hotels and you feel like, oh, is this a thing? Is this a scam thing?
But it's not free.
Oh, it wasn't? Oh, okay. Oh, well, there you go. All right, so what is your story? 877-91-WALLY is the number. Have you ever gone to one of those and it was like a total scam or bad experience? 877-91-WALLY. This is the Wally Show, and so Damon from Shark Tank has this touring thing where if you want to be an entrepreneur, you show up, it's a free event, and then I'm sure they try to sell you stuff at the event. I'm always so leery of these things, and not to say anything bad about his, but just in general. So have you ever been to one of those free things that ended up kind of costing you?
Yeah, I went to one on the TV. It said, if you don't come to our seminar, you deserve to be broke. But when you got to the seminar, it said, well, if you don't pay us $2,500 for our ideas, then you deserve to be broke.
But if you do pay, you will be broke.
Exactly. So you were kind of in a lose-lose right there.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the Wally Show, and there's such a big temptation when you see like those timeshare pitches or something that's like, hey, get a free vacation. All you got to do is spend a little time with us to take those, but they very rarely work out the way that you think they're going to. Has that ever happened to you?
They offered us free tickets for the family, and we were on a budget, so that worked. Free is good with a budget.
And you think, okay, I'll give up an hour and a half, 2 hours of my day to get free tickets to a show. It seems to make sense, but it very rarely works out that simply.
Well, exactly. It was very painful, the first one we went to. And before we went to the first one, we had actually signed up for like 4 of them with different companies. The first 2 hours were painful. The second and third and fourth ones got a whole lot easier, and we got everything down to like a science.
Yeah, by the fourth one, you're showing up. Look, let's just cut to the chase. I'm here for the free thing. I'm not buying this timeshare. Can I just have it and we can forget we ever met?
My parents did it once on a vacation because all we could afford was camping. So we'd go from $12 campground to, there was one place that did 2 nights in the condo for free if you go see the thing. So I remember all of us kids were sitting in a car for like 4 hours while they were in there listening to this pitch. But then we got this nice condo for a couple days.
Like today, if that happened, if 4 kids were left in a car, your parents would be in jail.
Right.
This is the Wally Show, and there's that old adage, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But I think we fall for these things all the time because we want to get something for free. So have you ever done that?
They called us and told us that we had won like a free 2-night stay to Hilton, with the meal, all-inclusive vacation and stuff. Because we have 2 teenagers and a weekend, with just the 2 of us. That was wonderful. And they said, well, and that's when they asked us, do y'all make $100,000 a year? And I was like, no. They were like, oh, I'm sorry, you don't qualify for this.
Oh, well, that just makes you feel bad on a few different levels.
Yeah, I was like, if I made $100,000, I wouldn't need to qualify for a free trip.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Here's everything you need to know in under 3 minutes.
This is madness.
Or slightly more if Wally gets worked up.
Nothing grinds my gears worse than some chowderhead who doesn't know when to keep his big trap shut.
It's the Wally Show News.
And Becca's going to get you caught up right now. What's happening?
It seems like the Donald isn't undefeatable. For the first time in national polls, Ted Cruz has pulled ahead of Donald Trump. Yeah, Cruz has 28% of the Republican vote. Trump is at 26, and Rubio came in third at 17.
This is what some political analysts has been saying for a while, that Trump would come out and have this big splash, but when it got serious and people started falling away, that there would be a shift, and now you may be seeing that. Those analysts were Zach and myself.
Right, experts on this.
But we're right.
But Trump, the interesting thing is Trump is actually leading in the next 2 primaries in those polls, so once again, you never know what's going to happen.
I'm still just having fun with this. I'm amazed at how this has gone so far, and I can't wait to see where it goes because it's just a circus.
Toyota issued another recall. Their RAV4 apparently has an issue with a rear seatbelt that's caused an injury and a death. Apparently, during a crash, that seatbelt could be damaged by a metal seat part, rendering it ineffective.
Oh.
So in the case of a crash, the seatbelt gets cut. Basically, there's no seatbelt in that back seat position.
Oh, wow.
So they're recalling nearly 2 million RAV4s issued between 2005 and 2014.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That was one
big
of the cars.
recall.
I was really into that car, and it was the one we were looking for. We were looking like a 2008 or something like that, so we would have been in that. That's definitely cool. It seems like recalls are a big pain, and sometimes you're tempted not to do them because,
Right.
it takes time. Most times, like especially with like a good company like Toyota, they've been through these before. They're not that hard. You schedule it, and you go in, and they take care of it, and you're done. Like I've had good luck with recalls in the past, especially with Toyota.
And history has showed time and time again that even though it costs money, it takes time, it's so much better to admit that there's a problem
Yes.
and take care of it than to let it go and try to hide it or to try to cover it up.
It's sad that you find out about the problem when there's been an accident or a
Right.
death that like clues you into it, but at least they're making it right.
And in my mind, Target couldn't get any better, but they're about to. They just announced that they're going to be adding shopping carts for children and adults with special needs.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, they're called Caroline's carts, and it's named after a woman's daughter who has a neurological disorder and had outgrown the regular seat in the shopping cart. But it's a pain to try to push the shopping cart and the wheelchair.
Oh, yeah.
So these are going to be bigger seats that you can easily transfer someone from a wheelchair to this cart and make it a little bit easier to shop. They're going to be in stores nationwide starting on March 19th.
Oh, that's cool. That's a great idea. Anything you can do to make it a little easier on a mom, that's trying to get what she needs to get done in life with her child there. That's a great thing. Is it wrong to want to, every time I go into Target, to want to drive one of the ones with the basket on it, though, that they use for old people?
Not
I
at
want
all.
to do that.
Do you really?
Yes, and I never have.
We should go there and have races one time.
Yes. Oh, and let's do it backwards so that we can have that annoying beeping sound.
Even
the
better.
whole
So the
time.
Look at
attention will
that.
be called to us sooner.
Yes!
Brilliant.
Yes, yeah.
I love it.
I see no problems with this plan whatsoever. This is the Wally Show, and I was watching American Idol last night, and I love our Rock What You Got contest even more. I see these kids living out their dreams, and you have a chance to do the same type thing by being a Harry Connick Jr. or a Keith Urban or a J-Lo right now by voting for a kid that you want to send to Camp Electric, which is a worship and rock summer camp taught by the best Christian artists.
Question: if
Yes.
we choose to be a Keith Urban, do we have to do the accent when we vote?
Yes, you do, mate.
Okay,
you
that's
do.
what I thought.
love
That's
that
what I thought.
performance. It was amazing, mate. Crikey. That's how you do our Australian
Okay.
accent. Nailed it. So if you want to help out a kid, like maybe Abigail, who's a violin player. These, by the way, are all our finalists up at allwally.com for you to vote. Or Christopher, guitar player, obviously. Oh, wait, no, that's oboe. I'm sorry. No, that's guitar. Or Daniela, singer, guitar player.
Believe their lies. Help them see
Ethan, pianist. Or you got Tyler, who's a drummer, 14 years old. Or Emma, who's a singer-songwriter.
I am a liar.
So that's one of her original songs. So you can vote for any of these kids that you like, and you're like, hey, they connect with me. I'd love to send that kid to camp. It's a great experience for these kids to learn more about their craft, but also be in an environment that's like healthy for like artistic kids, because a lot of times in school, that's not always the case. And so I love that, like, this is a place where my daughter comes alive. She loves this camp, looks forward to it, has made friends that she's been, and they plan every year to go together, which is really cool. Like, they become friends outside of this, even though they live in different states, and it's just very supportive of like your kid's dream, and it helps them become better at what they want to do.
And the great thing about music, too, is that you can dream to be this big musician, but even if you don't make it to that point and you do another career, it's always something you'll have. You'll always have music in your life, and I love that.
Becca's an accomplished flautist and pianist, and she'll break it out from time to time and amaze us. So, and it also, too, it it doesn't have to be like Becca's saying, your career per se, to be something that fulfills you for the rest of your life. And part of this too is it's teaching them about being a better believer. So they might, go just as deep in that aspect of this, even more than their music, which is a great thing. And that's why this camp works and why it's awesome. So if you want to send one of these kids, man, go to allwally.com and make that happen right now. Make one of their dreams come true. Or if you want to send your own kid and they're not in the contest, how great. You can use the promo code Wally and save $100 right now and get your kid out of the house for a week. Win-win. This is the Wally Show, and you might not know it, but Congress started a holiday years ago, Random Acts of Kindness Week, like a whole week of it. Yeah, not just a day, like a whole week of it, because that's what, we should be doing. I'm glad that, they recognize that, because it's one of those things that those little moments in life where you stop and you do something kind for somebody can really alter their day. And sometimes we've seen through, when we do a drive-through difference, we've seen it alter people's lives when they call and tell us. Because, what that is you pay for the car behind you in a drive-through, and then you hand the cashier a note that you can print off at the website, and then it says why you're doing it and stuff, and there's a phone number to call. And so then, people will call and share the story of what that meant to them, or then they'll pay it backward to the car behind them, which is kind of weird. That's what we should do a pay it backward. That's what we should call the thing. Pay it backward. What a great idea that is. That sounds even
Trademark
better.
Wally Show.
So, yeah, we own that. Oh my goodness, we're gonna do pay it backward. That would connect. That would go like bigger. People would key into that. All right. Anyway, another story for another time. Just mind melding here. But the point being, it's good to do something nice for people. And it doesn't have to be these big, extravagant things sometimes. It's those little moments in life where you take a minute out of your day and it's something for a random stranger that can alter them. And I'm curious if anyone's ever had that happen for them. They've had some random stranger. Because I know sometimes, I've had people come up and go, hey, we're going to a show or something. Hey, would you like an extra ticket for this show? Or we've been at Disney and had an extra ticket for Disney and seen, a family waiting in line. And it's going to cost them a bunch of money. So you're, picking one that you're going to pick and, this will be a lot of fun. We'll give them a ticket. And you go up and you're like, hey, man, we got an extra ticket to the park. Would you like to have it? And it's no, we're good. We're really? You want to pay another $120? No, we're good. We're good, man. We're good. You think it's a scam or something? No, it's honestly, legitimately just an extra ticket we have. You can have it, no charge, for free. Enjoy it with your family.
I'll leave it on the ground here and walk away.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, because we're so jaded as people that when someone tries to do something nice to us, we're conditioned to not accept it. And so I'm curious if you've ever been in that situation where somebody wanted to do something nice for you, and you went ahead and you took that random act of kindness, and what did it do for you in that moment? 877-91-WALLY is the number. If you got one, we'll take yours right now. 877-91-WALLY. This is the Wally Show. We're talking about those random acts of kindness, those times in life where somebody's done something nice for you that you didn't see coming. So what was yours?
When I was in college, I went to a mailbox and opened it up, and there was just an unmarked envelope, and it had cash in it, and it was enough to pay for, my books that I needed purchased for the classes I was taking.
Wow, did you ever find out who left it for you?
No, I never did. But I tell you, it was such a blessing.
That's crazy, because you wonder if you had been talking about it with somebody and then they helped out, or it could have been one of those weird things. God works bigger than we see so many times, and that your name popped into somebody's head that didn't even know what you were going through, and they could have left that money, and it's crazy how it would be the right amount of money. I do believe God works like that.
I've totally seen it in many times in my life, and you just know that it's a God moment.
And the cool thing about random acts of kindness is that, it changes something in you, and then it makes you see things differently, and then you'll do something nice for somebody, and then that's kind of just how it all builds.
That's right.
This is the Wally Show. We're talking about random acts of kindness and how just a simple thing can truly make somebody's day, and you never know how that's going to go. And we should all be doing this kind of stuff. But have you ever had a time, Dan, where somebody did that for you and it kind of made your day?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Both my wife and I, we're in the Air Force. And, we'll be out to lunch in uniform, and pretty frequently people will come by and pick up our tab, where they're always, thanking us for our service. And
Really? That's pretty impressive, man. I love the fact that people respect our servicemen and women that much to do something like that.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it's amazing, because we truly enjoy it, feel really blessed to be, doing this job. So we've started paying it forward like you guys were talking about. Anytime we see, local cops or sheriffs out of the restaurant, we'll try to do the same thing to those guys.
That's awesome. I love that you guys are turning around and helping out someone else in uniform. Big question, where's a uniform store around here? This sounds like a great deal.
Exactly. Look yourself up on eBay. You get patches and everything.
This is the Wally Show. We're talking about those random acts of kindness that people do for us from time to time and that we should be doing for other people. And they don't have to be, big gestures, but sometimes a small thing makes a difference. So, Carlton, what was that for you?
Well, I was at the mall with my family. My wife was shopping, and I was trying to watch the kids. They was being overly wild that day. And this old man came up to me and talked to the kids for a second and just told me, hey, you're doing a good job. Keep up the good work with them. For some reason, that comment just made my day. And that was probably 3 or 4 years ago. And to this day, I remember what the guy looked like. I remember it constantly.
Oh, wow, that's pretty amazing because you're thinking, oh, my kids are acting out and this guy's going to chastise me for being a bad parent, but the exact opposite thing happened and it stuck with you.
Exactly.
Now, if he had offered to watch the kids for you for a while you went to Bass Pro Shop, that would have been even better.
Yeah, it would have.
This is the Wally Show. We're talking about those random acts of kindness where somebody does something nice for you that you didn't see coming, and what was the effect on you as a result of that? So, Crystal, what's yours?
Hi. Due to some past bad decisions, I was a single mom and pregnant, and I was put on a bed rest, and so it was a really rough time for me, and everything was adding up. Well, I came outside one day, and my whole lawn was mowed, and it was such a huge help to me because I couldn't get out there and do that. I was the only one on the whole street whose grass was getting built up, and it was a huge relief to me because I just really couldn't get out there and do it.
Oh, well, that's really nice. And do you, to this day, you even know who did it?
I don't know who did it to this day, but it was 6 years ago, and it's still in my mind at how awesome it was.
And it's not this big thing. It wasn't like someone left you $10,000 in a mailbox. It was like someone did something kind for you that made you feel a little bit better about your house and about your situation. And, and you remember it to this day.
I think we're so wired in today's age, if people have problems, we give them money. And that's just like always the first instinct. But I think there is something sometimes even more special about doing something like that. Like when my dad had his aneurysm and we were in the hospital ICU all week, some people came and raked the entire yard, which was a big job. And I just remember the stress that took off of the family of like things were literally piling up at home, and it just removed a lot of burden from us as a family where we could focus on my dad.
Yeah, that's great. It's good that I don't live near your dad because I would have shot a video of me running through the leaves and then brought it to him and go, look what we did. We probably should have cleaned that up.
These are the least important stories out of Hollywood, but nonetheless entertaining. It's the least of these.
And Betty Rock is going to break it down for you right now. Betty Rock, what is going on, girl?
Well, American Idol was last night. Did you watch it, Wally?
I did,
I think
actually.
You're the only one that stays with it.
You know what? I dumped out of American Idol a while ago, and then they had a string of winners that you can't even remember who they are. But for some reason, I started watching on this last season, and I really enjoy Keith Urban and Harry Connick so much in the show that that's why I'm kind of watching it. They're really cool.
Well, Jennifer Lopez is one of the judges also.
She's a little, she's like, oh, I got goosies. Like, she's all right.
Goosies?
Yeah, when someone sings really well, she gets goosebumps. She's like, that gave me goosies.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Well, I think she's starting to favorite on one of the contestants named Dalton Rapatoni.
Oh, yeah. Dalton, he looks like Billy Joe from Green Day. He's got like the spiky hair, punk rock
and he does
look.
the eyeliner, doesn't he?
Yeah, and it's like bleach blonde, and he's got like piercing blue eyes, so he's that weird dichotomy.
Noticing way too much.
Well, because the reason I've noticed him is because he does something different every time with the music, which is kind of cool. But he always seems so emotional and always so just brooding, and and I know that's the kid my daughter's gonna fall in love with.
Well, it sounds like Jennifer Lopez might also be in love with him. Listen as she's cheering for him. She sounds like a siren.
Oh, that's Lopez?
Yeah. You know, someone else that can do a better siren is Zach. He can do this thing with his throat where he hits it and it sounds like an alarm system.
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. You can't make him do it. He's
do
not,
it.
He's
okay,
not
fine.
He's not a puppet.
Do it. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, can we try it where I hit your neck?
Yes.
I'd love to hear how that sounds. We're like,
It looks like Vanessa Hudgens and her boyfriend Austin got themselves in some hot water over the Valentine's Day weekend. They sparked a criminal investigation.
What?
Yes. After posting a photo on Instagram of a vandalized rock where they carved their initials into it at a national forest, which
really
is against.
I guess it's a no-no.
It's a federal law, prohibits anyone from damaging natural services or property of the United States.
I get it.
So they've been fined either taking $5,000 or 6 months in jail.
Oh, pay the fine. Yeah. Well, who in their right mind goes, I'm a little short on cash, I'll take the jail time?
I could use some time away.
Yeah, exactly. Moms. Yeah, I could see that mom like, throw the book at me. Give me a year. I just need some time to myself.
Kendall and Kylie Jenner released their new phone app yesterday. Yay.
Oh, yay.
And it's called Kendall and Kylie. Isn't that cute?
Oh, that makes sense.
It's a good idea.
Creative.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a Kendall.
It gives you an insight into their lives, but Jimmy Kimmel, he brings up a good point before you download this.
This is important for you to know. Once you download the app, your phone is no longer a smartphone.
That's awesome. All right, that's going to do it for your least of these. Thank you, Miss Rock.
Why are we wasting our time with these old people anyway?
You just call me old.
This is the Wally Show, and we have your chance to win a prize right now. And all you have to do is be paying very close attention as we try to stump each other with the ages of different celebrities and well-known personalities. And if you can keep track and add all their actual ages together, you can win the game here in about 15 minutes. So we have Becca up first. Who are you putting up?
I'm going to go with Billy Joe Armstrong.
Oh, I just mentioned him.
I know. That's why I wanted to go with him. And he's the lead singer of Green Day.
Yes.
I don't know if they're still a band. No idea.
They are. I just mentioned him because there's a kid on American Idol that looks like him. They actually have a Broadway play based on one of their albums, American Idiot. Yeah, I've never seen it. But that's... Okay. Everybody got your guesses down? Billy Joe Armstrong, not to be confused with Billy Joel. Let's go with Zach.
I'm going to go with 44.
Betty? What do you say?
I say 41.
I went 45.
Oh, you're all really close, but one of you got it exactly.
I did?
Zach!
Oh,
Boom.
no! I was only one. Hey, it hurts to be one off. And like,
I was going to say 44.
No, I wasn't, but it hurts to be that close and have somebody get it exactly.
That would be really frustrating.
It is really frustrating. Duh. All right, so now we're up to mine. I know Zach is a big fan of The View. That's what made me think of this. He's always talking about The View this, The View that, Whoopi this. They're great.
They had Fred Savage on the other day, and it was interesting. Him and Candace Cameron, because they're both child stars that were friends.
What's so funny about this is I remember you telling me that story, but I didn't remember what show you were watching. I was just making this all up. You just told on yourself for watching The View.
Walked straight into that one, Zach.
I walked into a room and it was on. Come on.
Sure it was.
All right, but I'm not going with Whoopi. I'm flipping the script here. Joy Behar. What?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Which one is
redhead.
she? Oh.
I think she's a comedian. I say that loosely because I don't find her funny. Joy Behar. Let's start with Betty Rock.
62.
Wait.
62. Oh, what? You still working? You still thinking? Okay, sorry.
Okay.
You good?
Sure.
All right, Zach.
64.
You went off mine.
Thank you. No.
Becca.
Her name is Becca.
Yeah, that was sad.
Thank you.
61, though.
61.
Mm-hmm.
Joy, maybe she's had some work done. Maybe she looks fabulous.
Is she older?
Older.
Whoa.
You guys are off by as much as 10 years.
Whoa.
73, Joy.
No, she's not.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow, she looks great for
She does
73.
look great.
I was really surprised. Yeah, I was really surprised.
I almost went younger, even.
Oh, wow.
I almost went 50s.
All right, so there you go. That was a good stumper for me. That could have put me back in the game. So Joy Behar, 73. Billy Joe Armstrong, 44. Keep those in mind and then add those to the next two when we get Betty and Zach within 15 minutes right here on The Wally Show, and you could win Famous Ages.
Why are we wasting our time with these old people anyway?
You just call me old.
We are working our way through Famous Ages. 2 people down, 2 more to go. And again, remember, if you add all the actual ages of these people we are trying to stump each other with, you can win a prize. So we are down to Betty and Zach's. Let's go with Zach's next.
All right, I'm going to go with James Lipton.
Oh, boo. Okay.
From Inside the Actors Studio.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know
that guy.
That guy.
He's that guy that asks the same questions every time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very famous.
Betty only knows him from Will Ferrell.
Yeah, from SNL.
You're going to get the age of Will Ferrell.
Yes, exactly.
That's all I can think of.
Yeah, Will Ferrell is awesome. He does a great James Lipton. Okay, so everybody get your guesses down. Again, trying to stump each other here.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
I'm ready. Becca.
84?
Ooh, I think I went low. I think I might have gone low.
Oh, I don't know.
75?
Oh, I went 77. Zach?
He is 89.
No!
Okay. All right.
89?
Yay.
That's a good stumper.
Yes.
Becca back in this thing. How are we pacing?
Right now, yours truly is in the lead.
Okay.
Wally is in second.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Coming in
Betty's
and
in last.
sliding in last.
All right,
Yes.
here we go. But now we're down to Betty's. This could be the stumper that could change it all for you.
No, it can't.
Oh, no.
Not for me.
No.
I'm done. I lost.
Been fun playing with you, Rod.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was James Lipton at 77 in case you're keeping score.
What?
Or 89.
All right, I'm sorry.
Not even close.
Yes. I wrote my actual age down there.
You're actually 77?
No, him.
I'm sweating.
Oh, my goodness.
I could totally tell. I
Yes.
knew you'd been lying about your age.
He's 89. Okay.
All right, Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, yes.
Give me some reference.
He's on Jurassic
Jurassic
Park. That's
Park.
all I know.
Independence Day.
Totally. Gotcha.
Commercials.
Okay, I
Yeah,
got a picture.
I know
him.
what you mean.
Oh, man. Those are older movies.
He's a guy that I do think is
He's
older.
the guy that. Do you remember that part where he has his
shirt off in Jurassic Park, and you're like, why do you have his shirt off? I'm so confused right now.
Why are you doing this?
Yes.
Who told you that was a good idea? That was a bad
Totally
life
get that.
decision.
All right, so everybody get your guesses down. Let's start with Zach.
I'm not ready.
I think I'm on the young side,
not
but
ready,
I'm
I'm not
going to
ready.
stick
Okay, I put
with 53.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
I think I'm way old then.
I said
good.
51.
Oh, no.
Oh, good. Good.
I said 67.
Oh, wow.
I thought he was like I thought this was
Holy
a trick,
cow.
and he
Sorry,
looks really
Jeff.
good for his age.
Dang.
Maybe.
Well, he's 63.
Oh, no!
I cannot believe I got that close. Did I win? A come from behind victory?
It doesn't matter.
Yes!
Did he?
Everybody wins.
Wally won by 2 years.
Wally! Like, seriously, no one's going to join in.
He'll
surprising.
never join in.
Guess who came in last?
Betty!
No!
Betty!
No! Becca came in last.
Becca!
You did. You stink.
Oh, my goodness.
Wait, what? I was just cheering for you a second ago.
I cannot believe Goldblum is what put it over the top for me. So there you have it. You have James Lipton and Goldblum. Those were two, but you got to get the actual ages of the other two people we mentioned as well in the first segment in order to win this thing. So add them all up, and who knows, you could be our big winner of Famous Ages within 15 right here on The Wally Show.
Why are we wasting our time with these old people anyway?
Did you just call me old?
This is The Wally Show, and it's the end of Famous Ages, where we've tried to stump each other with people like Joy Behar, Billy Joe Armstrong, James Lipton, and Jeff Goldblum. And all you have to do right now, Valerie, is tell us what their actual ages were. So what is that number?
It's 269.
269 is absolutely right. Congratulations. Now, who on this list were you kind of surprised by their age?
Joy Behar totally blew me away. I was thinking like Becca, like 50s even maybe.
Yeah, she looks good.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that too comes down to energy. Like she has really good energy, you know, like she's like an upbeat type person. And I think that that also plays a role in how old we see somebody. Because like I remember seeing my grandmother at 73, seemed like she was 73.
Maybe that's the secret. Instead of plastic surgery in Hollywood, everyone should just be happier.
Yeah, just more energy, and maybe that's it. Well, congratulations. Valerie, you and I have something in common. You might not know this.
We do?
We both won. That's right, because I won today on the show, and you won as well.
Yay, I'm so happy. This is so awesome because I didn't ever think I'd get through.
Well, congratulations. You are the big winner on Famous Ages today.
Thank you.
This is The Wally Show, and we got this thing called a podcast that we do every day where it's part of the show, and you can get it for free in the iTunes store or at allwally.com. But we also do a precast as part of that where we just kind of talk about things that we didn't have time to get to in the show.
And it is almost half as long as the podcast itself, so you're missing a lot of Wally Show if you're not listening to the podcast.
We started it out and it's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, it's a lot of our personal life stuff, and it's things that take longer to explain that we don't have time to on the show. show. And we started it and we're thinking, how's this going to go? And people love it. They love that part better, which I was really surprised. So I love it. We just ramble. It's fantastic. So you can check that out. But we got onto this conversation yesterday because I felt like Betty in the podcast was just going at me for no reason, like just shockingly so.
And you even pointed it out before we got done with the podcast.
I did.
And I'm thinking, what?
I have audio of that. Here's a little from the podcast yesterday. Exactly.
I don't really think you're dumb.
Betty Rock hasn't gotten to that point yet.
What? What am I disagreeing with you on?
You're not disagreeing with me. You just don't like me.
What makes you think I don't like you?
Oh, I don't know. This whole podcast. Because like, it just felt like every time I said anything, she was just on me. And so here's one of the incidences. Okay. See if you hear what I hear.
Yeah, okay.
You guys thought I was so smart till I mentioned TV show for a second.
No, we've never thought that. Don't worry.
Yeah, okay, so just a little insult.
That is funny.
Okay, so then the podcast continues. That's someone that took the money from the lottery and used it for something really, really good.
Yeah.
And how many of us would do that and go that extra
Not you.
mile? Yes, thank you, Rob.
Oh my gosh, my timing is on point. I love this.
Yeah, you're supposed to be hearing this and feeling guilty. She's actually going, I'm nailing it.
Paid more. This is great.
Yeah, it just kept going. The hits just kept coming all podcast long.
You know, I think you're looking for someone that will sympathize with you.
Right.
Why don't you write to your compassion children?
I couldn't do or say anything.
Oh my gosh.
And
I am hilarious, guys. This is so funny.
And
Can we play them again?
The problem that you can't see with this too is that you might hear that and go, "Oh, Wally, you're just being oversensitive." It's the complete disdain in her face that goes along with the word she's saying. It just cuts to the quick.
Thank you.
And for a lot of them, it seemed like she wasn't even paying attention to the conversation.
No!
And then she just lobbed those in all of a sudden.
That's because I'm always paying attention.
Yes.
You think I'm not,
It's
but
just like
I am.
a joke grenade coming over the wall.
Well, when I hear something like a possibility that I could make fun of Wally, I'm all tuned in. I'm ready to go.
So there you go. If you like that kind of mean-spirited humor, then you should listen to the podcast.
Yes, it's so much fun.
Yeah, see, you have learned nothing from this today.
This has been great.
I was hoping it'd be a teachable moment. No, I think we're done. I think my heart is hurt enough. Okay, I've got one more. I forgot what this one was.
You're such a girl. You're not teling me what I did.
Okay, see, you're such a girl. You just keep insulting me. All right, so there you go. You can check out the podcast and hear that kind of goodness every day for free at allwally.com or in the iTunes store. Well, that is going to do it for the podcast today, and thank you so much for being a potty. And again, if you want to leave us a intro for the podcast to use in the future, that would be great. Just go to the iTunes store or the Android Market, whatever they call that. Is it Google Play?
Yes.
Who even it was the Android
Google
Market
probably came up with,
and then Google, and who knows? But okay, Google Play Store. Why do you have an Android? Who would want one of those?
half of our users.
I know, that is amazing. It's just because they flood the market with them, and I think they're easier to get. I don't think they're a better for me personally, I don't like the interface.
There's some people who like more control, and so they go with Android, and there's some people that just like everything to work and not have to think about it. But that's not
it's true.
It's legit that people want to customize their phone, and so Android's good for them. They can do anything they want, kind of. But there's I don't want to deal with all that.
There are definitely things that Apple does that they force you to use iTunes and things like that. Yeah, yes.
The cloud.
Yes, there are definitely
I have the
things.
biggest problem with the cloud.
Why is the cloud problematic?
Because
to you?
it's a lie, and I don't know why a Huey Lewis in the News song comes on when I plug my phone into the car. I have no idea. I've never bought a Huey Lewis in the News song, but it's somewhere in the cloud and it comes down. I didn't summon you from the cloud, Huey Lewis. I did it.
It's the government.
It is the government.
All right. Well, remember, you can leave your intro there if you get the WayFM app, either through the Google Play Store or the iTunes Store. And I want to start playing some of these back. So what was the way you told him to denote
You hit the
it?
new message icon, and then there's a little microphone thing. You hit that, record your message. If you write in the comment somewhere that you're a potty, that'll help us find it, search it later, and then, that's it.
Yeah, have fun with it. Say whatever you want. I'm so-and-so, and I'm a potty from wherever, and this is the Wally Show podcast, or if you want to say something funny about, someone on the show, or whatever, or something you like about the show, it doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do. It's your intro time, so use it wisely.
With great power comes great responsibility.
That's very true. That's in the Bible somewhere, but it's great.
Nope.
Or Spider-Man,
Yep.
one of the two.